很大，那是超级对，超级大的。
So, actually, the message I want to do, because William was asking something about negativeness, and oh, all right.
刚刚问是伟人问了一个关于负面情绪的问题。
But the main focus we're here for is about those 2 days group, right? About this.
那我们在这里主要想去探讨就是2天的这些课程。
And what it's about, right? And how you can best the best way of participation in things, right? In a group. How can we participate?
Share it.
Yes, the best way.
我们怎么样更好的去分享这个课程
So I would suggest, what I just suggested, is to never go beyond your limits.
那多米的建议就是不要去超越你的状态，不要去超越你的这个限制，自己限制。
We all mature people here, right?
我们在场都是成熟的人。
So we already experienced a lot.
我们已经有很多的经历。
So my suggestion would be to stick to those experiences.
所以他的建议就是说，让自己就只是跟随自己的这个经验为止就好。
Do not go beyond your wisdom, but to go into your individual quality, to go in your own quality.
不要去超越自己的智慧，但是要找到自己的特点，找到自己的特点。
Because we all have our own quality.
因为我们每个人都有自己的特点。
And then that's what I said, because Amy was saying something about how are we going to do this, right? So I feel that's very connected to preparation, right?
那 Amy 刚刚就问了，我们怎么样去分享宣传这个课程啊？我们怎么做呢？那感觉是跟准备有关系的，我们要讲关于准备的话题。
So I just said that the best preparation is your own practice.
那刚刚波米也提到的就是你最好的准备就是你自己的修行练习。
So the more you practice, the better you become prepared.
你越练习越多，你越准备的越好。
That's in a nutshell what we just said.
总结一下刚刚的电影的开头。总结完了。
Okay, let's go.
Go
So
where?
now we can have some, questions to each other.
所以现在我们下一步来问一些问题。
Any question?
跟这有关系的一些。
William has a question.
Yeah. 可以问吗？还是让其他人先？
先请教多米同学，多米对我们这个多的课程跟信息中间的关联分享一下看法。
信心课程跟就是多益课程和信心课程之间的关联。
对，比如说，对，或者是我们目前做这个多维身心课程和以后想做的这个多维静心的养生课程之间的关系。对，对。
So the relationship between the 3-day multi-dimensional group and the 2-day meditation group that we are going to, what's the relationship?
Well, I think if you understand more and more about what it is to become more aware,
如果你理解更多，怎样才是怎么样是更觉知，怎么样你是更觉知的
then you can slide a little more smoothly into the teachings of the new
这样的话，你就会更容易进入到多维的教导，更容易能够接受和接纳学习多维。
So if you practice more, then there's an opportunity to be there where the movement is.
如果你更多的练习的话，你就会更容易的把你的专注点放在这个运动的这个事物上。
I notice what she's doing with the cups and the saucers in the back, right? I notice those people talking. I notice those people coming in. Who's wearing a blue shirt? You can, if you're in a certain silent state yourself, then you notice the movement.
比如说，刚刚他就注意到后面的人在整理盘子，这边人在说话，那边人进来，然后那边穿
反映出人在做什么。如果你自己更多的处于一种宁静的状态，你就更多的能关注到、注意到周围一切的发生。
And then you can increase your wisdom. So if you're more and more in a certain state where you calm yourself and you notice the movement, then whatever it is that Amy is teaching you, it will enter in you more profoundly.
这样的话，你能更多的培养你的智慧。如果你能更多的处于这种宁静的状态，就能更多的关注到周围一切的发生。所以，当你在下面进入周围的学习当中，就更容易知道，你在说什么，他在教你什么，更容易去接纳、接受。
But that's your own responsibility.
但是这是你自己的责任。
Responsibility has the word response in it, right?
责任 responsibility 有一个 response 就是反应啊、回应啊，这个在里面。
So mostly we have the tendency when we're with a group of people, when we're together in a group, that if you hear something which is not so interesting, then I go talk with her, right? And she's explaining whatever it is that I don't want to hear, right? I just go talk to her because I'm not interested.
所以我们有这样的一个趋势，很容易这样做，就是说，当我们在一个团体里，说话的人在说一个我认为我没有兴趣的东西，就跑去跟别人讲，不会说啊，这个我没兴趣，跟别人讲。
Meditation is teaching you to be like what he's doing now, right?
就像您现在做的这样。
So meditation is teaching you to be responsible.
所以静心和冥想其实在教会你如何更负责任。
So that's why I said in the group already a couple of times, you have to figure out what it is that's beneficial for you as well as for your
所
surroundings.
以在课程中讲好几次，就是我们要弄清楚对你有好处的东西，同时对别人有好处的东西是什么。
Because we're not alone in the world.
因为我们是独自在这个世界上待着。
So being responsible in a group means that if somebody's addressing somebody else,
那这个责任呢，在一个群体的活动之中，就表现在如果一个人在说。
to get over your idea of that it's all about you and going to talk to somebody else, is the responsibility to be silent and observe the movement.
所以，如果有一个人在说的话，你的责任就在于，不要想做什么做什么，而是去真正的观察一切的发生。
Because I guarantee you that no matter how boring the movement is for you, you can always get something out of it by just observing.
通过这种观察，无论你当时认为你多么无聊，但是对这些发生的观察会给你一些启发，会让你学到东西。
Often even more than expressing your own opinions to someone else.
而大多数时候，比你当时要跑去跟别人去发挥你自己的观点的收获要来的大得多。
I always say that I'm a big advocate of openness. The more open you are, the more movement can enter into you and the more wise you can become.
所以他一直在强调敞开的重要性。你越敞开，就能够越注意到周围一切的发生、运动发生，你就会变得越智慧。
If you keep on narrowing things down to your own well-known world, then there's not so much possibility to grow.
如果你把自己窄化的只看到你自己所熟知的、实际的知道的这个世界的话，那你就没有很多的空间来成长。
I feel that the more open you are, the more existence is rewarding you.
如果你越敞开，存在就会给你越多的收获。
So I think that would be something that we're going to address, in those 2 days of meditation. And there are many ways to address this.
所以这个主题就是我们这2天的静心课程中做到的，但是方式有很多方式。
And I feel that that's also exactly what I don't know so much about these multi-dimensions, but I feel that's what the multi-dimension also stands for, right?
虽然波米对多维不太懂，不知道这个多维讲的是具体的什么内容，但是他感觉这也是多维所要传达的一个理念。很好的。你这个问题是欧美。 就是说还是运动。所以这2天，因为我们以往的上课就是早上会有这个静心的引导，然后下午是多维的课程。那如果这2天就是会通通都在静心课，在多堂，那课程称为这怎么安排？课程称为多维课程，会怎么安排？都没有什么，目前都没有想法，会怎么安排这个具体的内容？因为他刚讲的没办法有具体内容的理解，因为人都还没在嘛，人在的时候他才会。
你是想问主题吗？
大致的方式，大致的概念，就是他大致上会怎么安排？因为你说具体的主题，我想他也现在也想不出来，因为没有人在。
So this 2 days, the basic concept of this 2 days. What are the basic concepts of this 2 days?
I would say something like what I said before a couple of times about it's all about awareness, right? And it's all about tension, and it's all about interaction.
所以都是关于一个觉知、紧张紧绷，还有一个就是互动。
Sarah, it's always with everything in life. I feel nowadays it always boils down to the difference between understanding things intellectually, talking / or practicing / observing.
那他说，最终呢，就是一个不同区别。这个区别就是头脑的理解，还有这个或者说话和练习，或者是实践之间的区别。
And don't get me wrong, I think talking is also important in many ways, but you have different kinds of talking.
不是说话都不是好的，但是因为有不同的说的方式。
I think some talking you can categorize in the same category as doing something.
那有一些说可以跟像做一样。
If the talking is like beneficial for insights or for, but yeah, I could say a lot about it, but more in the category of doing, then I think it's fine.
如果这个说呢是会给人带来灵感的，会有一些成长的作用的，那更像是做了，更可以反馈的是做。
Or supplying a demand, right? If there's a demand for an understanding about multidimension, and to talk about it, I feel it's important to make people understand what it's all about.
或者满足某种需求，比如说有人想对多维有了解，想去说出就是满足他的一些需求，这当然是很好的。
That's why we have books also.
所以我们才有书本。
And I think that's the course, the 3 days course, right?
这是3天的课。
But sometimes you have to come to a point where you maybe can let go of the books.
但是有的时候，也许在某一个点上，你可以暂时的把这个本放下。
And start practicing what the books or what the teachings are inviting you to do.
开始去实践、去练习这些书本、这些教导邀请你去做的事情。
That's where we come in the morning time, right? During those things. We work with the body, right?
所以这3天我们早上会有很多的练习在。
And that's why I also invite people in the morning, you've been there also a couple of times, to minimalize your talking in the morning time, and let's see what kind of effect that, because it can have a very profound effect on the person.
所以在前面的课中，我们有的时候会邀请大家早晨的时候就尽量减少说话，而这个是会给人影响的。
When you talk less, then there's an opportunity to experience more.
如果你说的少，就有更多的机会去体验更多。
To get into the feeling, right? And you get out of the intellect.
更多的是一种体验和感受的状态，而是脱离这种头脑的这个想啊。
I think that's the difference between those 2 days course and 3 days.
所以这就是这2天和3天的课的区别。
所以这2天应该会比较像第3的那个。
So it will be more like the
groupie morning.
I don't know, I feel, but because I'm in the moment, right? But I would definitely stimulate people or invite people to come up with things they come up with in their intellectual mind about what you can do to increase your awareness. I'm not the only one who has the truth in, you know.
他也不确定，因为要看当时状况，但是他会做一些，比如说去激发大家去考虑，你可以做什么来培养自己觉知的，会激发大家去考虑啊，去发现啊，去探索，怎么样才能够培养自己的觉知，每个人都不一样。
Maybe Ted is doing something for 20 years already, which is something he's doing every day, which helps him a lot in, you know, becoming more. Please share, you know, that's perfect.
他说，如果Ted你20年都已经在一直做这些事情、这些练习，会培养他的觉知的，好，那请他去分享。
We all come to the group with a certain preparation to get that word again, right?
因为我们来到这个团体里面，都是带着某种准备来的。
And there's nothing so frustrating as being prepared and not able to show that you are prepared, right?
那如果你准备好了，然后又不能够去展示你准备的这些事情，那其实是很让人挫败的一件事。
She's asking a lot of questions always, right? Which can be very good because then she also probably got a lot of answers in her life. And maybe she can, you know, share what she did with those answers. That's fine. That's
比如说，
perfect.
丽蓉总是问很多问题，那这些问题是可以让你收获一些回答、一些答案。所以如果去分享这些答案，然后在你生命中的、你生活中实际的一些结果或者启发，也是非常好的。
She strikes me as kind of a happy person, right? So there is a reason probably behind her happiness. So maybe she can share that reason.
他说，你给他的感觉就是一个很快乐的人，所以也许你快乐背后是有原因的，你就可以去分享这些原因。
We all have our own qualities, that's what I said.
我们都有自己的品质。
We just need to have an invitation. We need to be stimulated or, you know, inspired or come to a safe environment where we are not fearsome of telling all those things, right?
所以我们要被鼓励、被激励，去在一个环境下，让自己可以不用害怕，可以不用害怕就去分享、去表达自己的主张。
And the funny thing, maybe the ironic thing is that those things can be told and people can feel safe mostly when you are a little bit more focused on the meditative aspect or a silent aspect, right?
那如果你在一种静心所带来的安静的这种静心的体质的氛围之中的话，就会更容易感觉到安全去分享，去在这个团队里面。
So it's up to the people in the room about their willingness to create that atmosphere together.
所以重要的就是人怎么样能够在这个团队里面有意愿去制造出这种氛围。
And that's something you never know before.
在之前是很难预测的。
And there are many ways to ask or to guide them into that atmosphere.
有很多的方法可以引导他们进入到这种氛围。
But it's very difficult when, you know, when you have a group. I just got an email from a friend of mine. He's a teacher. He teaches 14-year-old boys.
刚刚收到一封邮件，就是他的荷兰的一个朋友写来的。他也是个老师，他教的是14岁的男孩子。
He said they're just talking with each other. He said it doesn't matter where I'm in the classroom, right?
他说那些小孩子反正就自己说话了，老师在不在这个房间里面都没有关系。
So it always depends on the intention, right? What kind of intention do people have when they enter somewhere? And I can say, because we've been teaching a lot, right? I can say a lot about intention.
所以意图很重要，就是人们走到这个教室的意图是什么？我们教了很多，然后关于意图啊什么的，可以讲很多。
It's a little too much to ask everybody in person when they enter the room, what is your intention today, right? That's something you don't do because then you blow the whole thing, right? So you have to maybe get into, what Amy always does, get into some questions or shake hands or that kind of stuff. But you have, as a person, we all have a responsibility to behave and to observe. I don't know.
他说你不可能让大家走进教室，每个人走进来就问他你的意图是什么，你的意图是什么。但是会做一些铺垫，做一些环节，像 Amy 做那些可能一些环节，然后慢慢的通过提问题啊，然后一些学习啊等等的，开始进入到一种状态。
Sometimes I forget, we teach a lot of yoga groups also, right? Sometimes I forget when I come to talk about meditation to collect all the cell phones, right? That's what we do normally before we start.
因为我们教静心也会有的时候受众是那些练瑜伽的朋友，那我们有的时候会忘记去收手机，一般来说我们上课之前是收手机的。
So then you know the intention of the group. If there's a 2-hour thing going on, right, a 2-hour session, and no phone rang, I have a good feeling about that group. But mostly people.
如果没有收手机的话，2个小时的课没有一个人手机响，好就觉得这个团队是有一个清晰的意图的，否则的话可能会不一样。
So I don't know who's coming. I don't know people's background, right? I know you now a little because I saw you 4 times, but that's, you have to build things up. I don't know how that works. Every group is different.
所以每个群体都不一样，而且不知道谁会来上课。我们见过好几次，所以大家互相有了解，但是新来的人谁都不知道，所以要慢慢的去建立一个理解。
In the English language, they have a saying, right? It's either the stick or the carrot. And like the mule in front of the car. You can use a carrot in front of the mule and he keeps on running because he wants that carrot, right? But some mules say, yeah, fuck you, I'm never going to get that carrot, so you have to use a stick, right?
所以在英文里面有个表达就是胡萝卜或者是大棒，胡萝卜或者大棒。所以有的驴呢，前面就用胡萝卜去引着它就走了。所以有一些驴人说，什么乱七八糟胡萝卜，他不管了，你就用棍子打它。就是胡萝卜或者是大棒。
The stick being a metaphor.
Yeah, we even have Roosevelt had a policy called the carrot plastic.
Oh yeah.
罗斯福有一个政策叫胡萝卜加大
That's
棒。
really harsh. Then you really want people to be obeyed.
管理是一个理论这样子，对对。
In management theory also. 胡萝卜加大棍，萝卜。
对对对，2手对。
Well, I'm not in favor of any of those two, so I think you just need to use your own, stuff, what you have, your own, what I said, your own preparation, your own, what you did in your life, and use that, and don't go beyond it, and just know and do what you know, and that's all you can do.
他说他觉得胡萝卜大棒就他都不会用的。他说就要去知道我们知道什么，就是说去用那些我们所准备好的。
Intention, very important. Yeah. Not only from the teacher, but also from the audience.
不仅是来自于老师，来自于这些受众的这个意图也非常重要。
That's often we ask the question, before we start a group, especially also with yoga people, because I say something mostly to yoga people about meditation, right? I'm not the yoga teacher to do the asana, right? So mostly we ask them up front, why are you here?
通常我们会在课程刚开始就问你为什么来这里，他的意图为什么来这里？因为有的时候我们其实不经常教瑜伽，经常教是瑜伽的人静心。
I think that's a very legitimate question. Not only for you to know what kind of, but also for the people themselves to really confront yourself with, maybe you have your mother, I guess sometimes we get answers, my mother sent me, or, or
这个问题也很好，因为不仅是我们知道他为什么来，他自己也可以问问题，自己也更清楚他为什么来。有的时候会有这样的答案，说我来是因为我妈妈让我来。
My husband.
我丈夫让我来。
So I don't know.
A lot of that answers here.
I don't know.
我说可能经常会有人说，是我妈妈让我来。
then you can go a little deeper as a teacher also, right? Okay, your mother sent you. Okay, that's fine. What are you expecting something?
就作为老师可以走得深一些哦，你妈妈让你去，但是你是否实在？
Or do you want to be here? That's something I ask always
你
because
想
I
不想
think
在
that
这里？应该经常问这个问题，这是一个重要的问题。想不想？
because if you don't want to be here, then well, please go somewhere else, right?
不想在这儿的话，就去别的地方吧，更好。
经理啊，就是请问一个问题，就是大家都听得到，就是我们内在的负面的感觉把它消除越多的话，正面的感觉进来越多，正面能量就越高，那更容易越快进入我们的内心的觉知的状态。
So is it true that the more we get rid of our negative emotions and thoughts, then the more we are in touch with our positive emotions and thoughts, then we will be able to increase and grow our energy.
That last thing
最后就是培养你的能量是吗？
正面能量就越高，正面的思维就越多，
负面的能量越小，才能够更
快的那个觉知的
the more the faster we can be more aware, the faster we can get more aware.
No, that last thing I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
他说最后说能培养觉知这点，他不会这么说。
Because you missed the beginning of the movie. I already explained it just to William because he had a sort of similar question about positive and negative energy.
刚刚的这电影前面开头没看到，因为您问了一个相似的问题，就讲了负面情绪。
So I tried to look at it. I explained it to them in two ways, and one of them is a scientific way, right?
就他有两种方式来回答，一个就是一个科学的方式。
And actually, positive and negative energy are not so far apart from each other. They're both very much related to vibration and tension, right?
那其实负面能量和正面能量，距离不太远，因为它们都是一种震动，一种紧张和紧绷的。
So I can tell you a whole story what that tension can do to you as an entity.
作为一个机体，那些紧张和紧绷会对你有什么影响？我可以讲很多。
Whether it's negative or positive, it doesn't matter. I gave the example, I think, about being lovesick, right? Being in love, lovesick, right? And love is very positive, right? Because I told him something when you have your first date with the man you love, right? Then you want to dress up nice, you're a little nervous, right? That's also tension, right? That's not... So I would say, as a meditation teacher, what you just asked, I would say it doesn't matter so much whether it's positive or negative energy. It's more, I also told William that, it's more how you relate to what's happening, right?
重要不是说正面和负面的能量，重要的是对这个发生你是怎样对待的。
So to put it in very fashionable words, into very meditative words, the assignment or the invitation is to transcend any energy that gets you tilted.
那用一个静心的语言去说，就是要去超越 transcend 超越一切让你倾斜的能量。
So my answer as a meditation teacher would be that if you're able to transcend the tension, if you're able to build yourself back in your natural position, there's a huge energy opportunity to go for.
如果你能够超越这种倾斜的状态，如果能够回复到自己的自然的那种状态的话，就会有很大的潜力，有很多的能量去抛出。
I'm not in favor of saying that positive energy is, creating a better world.
他不会说正面的能量会制造一个更美的世界。
I'm more in favor of saying that meditation is all about, again, transcending the duality. So the negative and the positive, the black, the white, whatever you want to, good or bad.
那 静思作为一个静心老师，认为说静心是要超越所有的这种二元的对立，包括认为什么是正面，什么是负面，包括什么认为是好，什么是不好，什么是黑，什么是白，是超越这种二元对立。
So meditation is always an invitation to look at yourself
静心的冥想邀请你看你自己，
and to bring yourself to a state of increased awareness and a decreased tension.
就是观察你自己，把自己带到一个增强的觉知和减少的紧绷紧张的状态。
If you can decrease your tension and increase your awareness,
如果这两者做到，就是增长觉知和减少紧绷能够做到的话，
then you're in a state of more freedom, right?
那你就是处于一种活在一种更多的自由之中，
Or a state of more openness. Tension is always narrowing down.
或者更多的敞开的状态，因为紧张和紧绷是狭窄的，它往下往中间狭窄的缩。
Getting rid of tension opens things, right?
就是去除这些紧张紧绷，打开。
And that's why, I also said it in the last class, that's why we call it attention. You know English, right? So you have tension, and to bring attention to tension, attention is A always stands for anti, right? So you anti-tension, you take the tension away through attention.
那在最后这个课程中，他也讲过 ，tension 在英文里面是紧张紧绷的意思，而注意力是 attention， 就是一个词根就是反过来的意思。那它的意思就是说，用你的注意力，用你的觉知和关注，能够带走，反过来带走这个紧张紧绷。
And that doesn't mean that you can't have emotions anymore, or that doesn't mean that positive energy is also bad, right?
这不代表你不能有任何情绪，也不代表正面的能量就是不好的。
What my friends always tell me, yeah, Bommy, but you know, you can only appreciate the peaks of life when you know the valleys, right? So in other words, you have to become very depressed to become a very happy person.
但他的朋友总是说，你要是能够如果有这种高峰的这个喜悦，才能够知道低谷是怎样。只有低谷的这种压抑和这种抑郁，才会知道高峰是怎样。
But I always answer that, you know, whether it's a mountain, whether it's a peak, right, or a valley, they're always having an end. There's a spot in the valley or in the mountain where you have to go over it or underneath, right? There's always an end.
公民回答是，无论是高峰和低谷，总是有一个临界点，到一个临界点就拐弯了，总是要有个结束的这个点。
So that creates a lot of drama.
而这个点就会制造很多的戏剧的发生。
And when they accuse me of being boring, very boring, said, yeah, but being in a meditative state, that sounds so boring because it's so flat, you know?
那他的朋友就说，如果你总是在一个静心冥想的平静的状态，很无聊嘛，一直都很平静。
I always say, no, it might be flat, but flat doesn't have an ending. So you can bring the flatness also all the way up and even further because there is no ending, right? So if we talk about energy, it doesn't matter so much. If you're in a certain meditative state, you float anywhere and there's no drama.
罗密说，看起来是一种很平淡的状态，但是这种平的状态可以高到无限，低到无限，是没有尽头的，没有尽头的。你可以有一种很平静的状态，但充满着能量，没有限制的这种能量，没有限制的高和低，没有限制的高。
So it's not boring at all for me.
所以对他来说一点都不无聊。
There's a big mistake about meditation that you know, you have to get rid of your thoughts or you have to get rid of your emotions. No.
那关于静心冥想有一个误解，认为我们要把所有的念头都没有了，什么都不想，然后也没有任何的情绪了。
Sometimes very interesting to see your mind going crazy and all these associations and stuff.
但实际上有时候很有意思的是观察你自己的头脑发疯，所有的这些想法是在里面转，你去观察。
And sometimes very interesting to watch the anger come.
有的时候有意思就是去观察愤怒来，愤怒从哪里来。
Or what provokes your happiness or what provokes your boredom.
或者是你观察到是什么让你 是什么让你愤怒？是什么让你无聊？是什么东西的发生能够激发你？
Does that answer your question?
可以回答你的问题。
最后跟一个信仰很有关系，让你发生一个愤怒，让你快乐，跟你的belief，你的信，你的那个，我不是讲宗教信仰，
规则，
我是讲那个核心价值，核心价值，
固有的一些价值模式。
对对对。
It's a very intellectual concept, positive and negative. It's a very
正面
intellectual.
和负面是一个很头脑化的一个概念。
I think one should at least try once in your life not to see the concept as being dead in life, that everything is whether up positive or negative, but just to see it as something.
所以我们一辈子至少要尝试一下，不要把一件事看成正面和负面，只是把它看成一件事。
Whatever it is that's coming to you, just receive it with open arms and just observe it and as you will analyze it, but don't judge it.
无论这个事情是什么，来了以后，就敞开的去看，可以去分析，不要去评判，就观察，敞开的去观察。
Judgment narrows things down.
评判就会让一切窄化。
Judgment is actually blocking you from becoming wise.
评判会让你不能够变得智慧。
It's good to be skeptical, it's good to be critical. Maybe in the end even it's good to judge, but it takes a lot of time first before you come to that moment.
你可以去观察，可以去探索，可以去分析等等。最终，也许最终的时候也是去评判，但是要花很长时间，跟体验很多体会啊，很多的这些观察也都在。
Very good translation.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
我要帮水如哥问的。
She likes the question really well.
Yeah.
Because he wants
看封面都不需要翻译，他什么都知道。
这个就是觉察。觉察，这个就是觉察。
What does William want to ask?
觉察。
没有想看见他们在。
不是
1月份的课
已经
那个主题要定什么？就是我记得那个名称要定什么？怎么定？
天的课本身上。
I want to say one thing first before I answer that question.
在回答这个问题之前，想先讲另外一点。
I just talked about teachers, right? I don't know if you were already here, but I said something like the teachers you remember best are the teachers who were thinking and acting outside the box and not through the system or the books, right? Those are the teachers you always remember, the crazy ones, right?
再回放一下电影前面所讲的，就是说你记得最清楚的那个老师，就是那些不从说不照本宣科的，不讲课本里的东西，跳出盒子来想问题，可能听起来有点一些疯狂。
So when I was 14 years old, I was not so good with the Dutch language to make, the language part, the grammar, right? And we had this teacher who was a little crazy, right? And then this guy was sitting next to me and he was very good at it. So I was always, writing things, looking at him and writing things out because I didn't know shit about it.
他是讲14岁的时候呢，他上学，然后在上荷兰语法课，然后他不太懂，不太行，那旁边的人就很灵，什么都懂，所以他经常去偷看他。
And that guy, my neighbor was called Max, right? The same as
旁
Max.
边那个同学叫 Max。
So, and then I got my paper back, right? He corrected the paper, that's what teachers do,
老
right?
师就是改卷子嘛，改完卷以后发回来。
And then every correction in my paper, this teacher started with no Max on my paper, no Max.
所以老师改的卷子上面都是说不对 Max 说的不对 Max 说错了 Max 说错了。
So I can answer this question like the title William is gonna be.
所以他现在的回答就是伟明，这个 个课程的内容呢？
Because she was not asking the question.
因为不是他问的，是你问的。伟明，这个课程的快乐主题。
哦，那就会突然这样做。
突然弄懂了，故事的笑点在哪里？
You can do something with awareness.
所以可能是
I have to think about it.
再想一想具体的怎么样去说这个词，但是应该是跟觉知有关系。
Or wait, these words are often so big, right?
这些词语听着有的时候很大。
I don't know if they cover the thing because I don't know where we're going to with the group, but
因为不知道这个课程具体会怎么样，所以也不知道这个题目会合适。
but maybe something with a different angle or
也许是另外一个视角啊，视角。
looking at things from a different angle than the
台湾也是
multi-dimension.
视角。
Looking
不同的
from
角度啊，不同的视角。
a different dimension.
Do you understand?
Or something like, can you relate to the meditative dimension? Can you relate? Then there's already a challenge, right, when you come in. I don't know. She doesn't like it. I already...
I'm just thinking the Chinese translation doesn't make sense. 我说你可不可以连接上静心的维度？可不可以感觉到，或者是连接上静心维度？这当时的这个。
Yeah.
我们要想一下这个怎么讲。
Do you have a type?
你觉得呢？你有一个想法吗？大家可以做 brainstorm， 可以做头脑风暴。
Maybe you can come up with a nice title.
brainstorm 发想，脑力激荡，
秘密这两个字哈，其实是在国内，就说亚洲很有名气。那很多人其实都在看这本书，而且它后面的解决方案一共有大概5本，它的操作版。其实那个就是周围的那个入口。
Do you live up to your
台湾已
quality?
经把秘密解读错了，不要再解读。
就是 OK，
因为台湾在参加交界。
我的意思是说 ，no 没关系，这只是 idea，就是说从那个点里面。
你有没有活出你生命的品质？
Do you live up to your
有没有
quality?
活出你生命的品质？或是你想不想？
Do you live up to your potential?
你有没有活出你的潜力？
Are you in the right dimension?
你是在正确的维度上吗？
I don't know, it could be anything.
任何都可能。
觉知还是跟接讯是非常不一样的，状态
对呀，
完全不一样，
还是有关系的。
有关系，关系。
在这
对。Awareness is different from getting online to get message from your system, like we always talk about.
I think it's related in a way.
有关系。
基础啊。
Who was asking that? You. I think it's related
有关
eventually.
系啊，这都是有
Eventually.
关系的。
I think the more sensitive you become, as you will, the messages become more clear.
越敏感，当然这个信息越清楚。
Because I think those messages are being sent to you like constantly.
因为这些信息其实是一直不间断的在
But the only
发给你。
the only reason you don't pick every message up is because I just call it sensitive, but I would say because there are layers around your receptiveness.
我们为什么接收不到这些不断发给我们的讯息，是因为我们不够敏感，或者是换一句话说，我们周围一层一层的这些包裹太大太多。
所以你讲基础是很好的。
你们刚才有提到，
等一下，
我刚才有
Stop! I need to press the record button.